Hello viewers, this is Shreelekha Abburi and you're watching the Weekly IAS Bulletin, where news meets nuance and headlines meets perspective. From food policies to fighter jets, youth summits to wildlife zones, today's stories blend governance, science, rights and resilience in a way every aspirant should understand. So let's look at this week's top headlines. Tragedy in the skies. Air India crash raises fuel switch mystery. Aviation safety is under the microscope after Air India flight AI71 crashed moments after takeoff from Ahmedabad, killing 260 people. The AAIB's initial report found no technical fault, but revealed both the fuel switches moved to the cutoff position just 3 seconds into the flight. An old FAA advisory had flagged this, but action was never taken. The mystery deepens. Was this a human error, mechanical failure, or something more? The probe continues. From black box truths to ballistic breakthroughs, the runway now leads us to India's growing defense edge. India set to co-produce Javelin missiles with US. Strengthening defense self-reliance, India has sent a formal request to co-produce Javelin anti-tank missiles with the US under the Make in India initiative. This move is key to building domestic capability in advanced missile tech amid regional threats. But while weapons evolve, nature still speaks, and a winged spectacle in Assam reminds us what's truly worth protecting. Kaziranga's new winged wonders. Kaziranga isn't just home to rhinos. Its first ever grassland bird survey reveals 43 species, including endangered birds like the Bengal florican and Fin's weaver. This highlights the rich, lesser-known biodiversity for India's grasslands and the urgent need to protect it. From bird calls to courtroom calls, next, a forensic breakthrough could transform how justice hears the voiceless. DNA protocols reinforced. Supreme Court's justice with science. In a landmark decision, the Supreme Court acquitted a death row inmate due to poor DNA handling in a 2011 case. The court has now mandated strict uniform protocols for collecting and documenting DNA evidence, putting scientific integrity at the heart of criminal justice. And while science sharpens, justice, the law now tightens its grip on what we post and how we speak online. Supreme Court to influencers. Dignity is greater than virality. The Supreme Court has taken suo motu cognizance of content mocking persons with disabilities. It reminded the nation freedom of expression must never come at the cost of human dignity. Guidelines for respectful digital conduct are now in the works. From virtual spaces to real livelihoods, we move to a ground-level policy that's crafting dignity through design and skill. Skill, pride and progress. PM VIKAS comes to Delhi. The PM VIKAS scheme has launched a training center in Delhi's Tilak Nagar to skill individuals from 6 minority communities. With pillars like skilling, entrepreneurship, and education, the scheme empowers youth while preserving cultural crafts and heritage. But behind every stitch of progress lies a stronger soul, and that brings us to a spiritual summit with a national heartbeat. Kashi hosts Youth Spiritual Summit for Drug-Free India. Varanasi is hosting a unique gathering. 500 delegates and 100 spiritual organizations for the Nasha Mukt Yuva Summit. Organized by the Ministry of Youth Affairs, the event promotes a value-based, drug-free path to a developed India. From meditative minds to scientific missions. Next, we lift off into India's skyward return to the space stage. Gaganyatri returns. India's giant leap in space science. After 41 years, an Indian has returned to space. Astronaut Subhanshu Shukla conducted 7 experiments aboard the ISS under Axiom 4. From space farming to muscle regeneration, this marks a big leap in India's space research and innovation. Back on Earth. glory takes shape in stone and legacy, as India's forts earn their place in global heritage. Maratha forts join UNESCO heritage lists. India's 44th UNESCO site is here, the Maratha military landscapes. Recognized for their architecture, strategy, and cultural value, these forts are now globally celebrated symbols of India's historical resilience. And while history finds recognition, politics welcomes new representation, with fresh voices entering the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha welcomes 4 eminent nominees. President Murmu has nominated Harshavardhan Shringla, Ujjwal Nikam, Dr. Meenakshi Jain, and C. Sadanand Master to the Rajya Sabha for their contributions in diplomacy, law, history, and education, ensuring deeper expertise in lawmaking. From the halls of power to the roads of the future, our next stop is India's electric leap in public transport. PM E-Drive powers India's first e-truck scheme. India's EV push shifts into higher gear with the launch of its first electric truck subsidy scheme. Led by the Ministry of Heavy Industry, the initiative aims to cut logistic costs and reduce pollution by electrifying goods and transport. But progress needs protection too, and India's forests are now being managed smarter zone by zone, redrawing eco-sensitive zones for smart conservation. India is revising its 2011 eco-sensitive zone rules. Instead of uniform buffers, zones will now be site-specific and shaped by local geography and biodiversity. States will play a bigger role with expert input. From forest zoning to food zoning. Next, it's time to talk about what's being served on our streets and how safe it is. Eat Right India, a plate full of change. Food Safety and Standards Authority of India's Eat Right India campaign is transforming what we eat, focusing on food safety, nutrition, and sustainability. From reducing salt and oil to tackling microplastics, it's a multi-sector effort to fix India's food system. And while food unites us, trade tests us. India's farmers now push back against what they see as a global grain grab. India backs farmers' rights at FAO talks. At FAO's treaty negotiations, India opposed proposed changes that could limit farmers' rights to save and share seeds. India emphasized that seeds are not just inputs, they're cultural heritage. The debate continues globally. We close today not on protest but on promise, as India charts a cleaner and greener flight path into the future. Flying green, the rise of sustainable aviation fuel. To reduce carbon emissions from air travel, India is exploring sustainable aviation fuel made from waste and biomass and compatible with current aircraft engines. SAF could cut aviation emissions by 80%, making flying climate conscious. And that's a wrap on this week's IAS Bulletin. From Supreme Court orders and space missions to green fuels and grassroots campaigns, whether it's law, life, or the land, every story matters for the exam and for the nation. And this is Shreelekha Abburi signing off. And until next week, stay curious and stay committed.